Hey, what's going on? This is Roots, and this is Virtual Strangers review of VFR. Along with me, as well, always, is Wes. So let's go ahead and get into this, shall we? Um, so this game is a collaboration between ID Software and Bethesda Softworks. It was released on November 30th, 2017 for PC and a day later for PlayStation VR. Both were $30 at time of release. And I'm pretty sure both are still $30 because, well, Bethesda is greedy and they're attached to it. So it's still going to be expensive. So anyway, so you might wonder what kind of game is Doom VFR. And if you've played Doom before, then I would say it's Doom in VR. And if you've never played Doom, then I question what rock you crawled out of and what the hell have you been doing for 20 plus years. But if let's assume you don't know what it is, it's a first person shooter based around the killing of demons and zombies in order to stop an invasion. All right, so the original Doom came out in 93 and was created solely by ID Software. Only bring this up as anything because I was under the assumption it was a Bethesda title from beginning to end, like Wolfenstein. But doing research, I found out that they did not jump into the game with Doom until BFG, Doom 3, and 2016, and Doom, obviously the one we're doing here. They didn't have anything to do with 1, 2, or the final Doom. So I thought that was interesting. And another thing I found interesting is this was created on software that was revolutionary at the time called C, and it was created by John Carmack. And I was like, oh my God, like just because of all the Bethesda Oculus bullshit, and really because we're going to be talking a little bit about it later this review, I just thought that was very, very intriguing to me. But yeah, so anyway, I guess enough about what Doom VFR is. Let's get to the questions. Wes, I too am one of the people with no souls that need to crawl back under the rock because I've up until Doom VFR I had never tried it before. And what about you? Did you ever play it back in the day?
I used to love Doom. I would sit up and play it all night. The one that really um, I played the most, I think, was Doom 64 on the Nintendo 64. But I played many different iterations of Doom over the years. Um, of course, Doom, as anyone will tell you, is known for its fast paced, high intensity gameplay. It's kind of one of these games where they just try to smother you with enemies. They send the enemies aren't all that difficult to defeat, but they send them at you in such great numbers and they're firing projectiles at you that you pretty much have to be in constant movement, constant fighting, and constant killing. And that has remained true throughout the years. And yeah, it used to be one of my favorite things. We'd sit up all night playing Doom 64, many a night.
Yeah. Well, I guess that being said, I'll just go right into another question that I was curious about, because I was either way, which you were going to tell me. Being a fan and enjoying it as much, did this live up to your expectations, or was it like a complete? I really wanted to play Doom in VR, and this was like, ugh, just not good.
Well, that's a complex answer to that question, really, because obviously I had high expectations with this being Doom in VR. You know how much better VR makes video games. I couldn't really imagine what it would be like to be in Doom, but anyone who's been a long time fan of Doom knows that there's really two distinct kinds of Doom. There was the original Doom that always took place in hell and all of these crazy evil environments. And then there was the reboot Doom that happened in the mid 2000s or so when they did the Doom movie. Doom became less of a horror title and more of a science fiction title. So uh, coming into this game, I didn't know which one it was going to be, and immediately when you get in, it's the latter. It's one of the first levels are the science fiction style Doom levels. But as you get deeper into the game, you do travel to hell, and that's when the game really takes off. And yeah, it's like being inside of a classic Doom game. It's extremely evil, intimidating environments, bone and blood and fire everywhere. Pretty much what I would expect. So I was maybe a little disappointed at first, but by the time I got to the end of it, it was I was extremely happy with what it was.
Yeah, I really struggled in the first areas. Like, not, I just, forced myself to play. I was like, man, it would just felt like a fetch and kill. Go get this, kill some stuff. Go get this, kill some stuff. Go get this, kill some stuff. But the good news is, the stuff you're getting is building your portal to hell. And like Wes said, when I got into hell, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? It is so fast paced. It is the fastest feeling game I've played in VR. It reminds me a lot of Serious Sam, but like to the T, graphically better. And but it just was just so good. It's hard as fuck, man. And it just was. It is fun, but it is challenging. It is not for the faint of heart, and maybe it's because I've never played any of them and I didn't know what to expect, and I was just like this Doom virgin. I was just like in awe of like what is going on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just, that's precisely the way the old Doom games were. Is the way it is when you get to hell in this game. All of the old games were like that, but the only difference being is in the older games there would be like 100 levels, right? Like literally just hours and hours and hours and hours of gameplay, but there were cheat codes. So you could go into God mode and be invincible and have unlimited ammunition, have all the guns from the very start of the game. And that's how we played a lot of the time. It was just fun to go into these, seemingly limitless levels with hundreds and sometimes even thousands of demons in them, and just go to town with all these different guns. Even back then, there was a chainsaw. That kind of disappointed me that there wasn't a chainsaw in this game. But yeah, very much. After you get to hell in this Doom VFR, it very much holds up to the image of the old Doom games.
Yeah, well, it makes me want to play the old Doom games. And it just kind of, I guess for me, it kind of showed, what, obviously without, just from what you're describing and what I played, what developers can do as far as actually bringing these games into VR. And granted, it's Bethesda, but I mean, it was the original two, obviously the ID, they've been doing it for 26 years. So they know what the fuck they're doing. So yeah, it was, it's just such a good game on so many levels. I know, granted, there are bad. We will get to that, but there was definitely so much good to it. Now, which platform did you play this on, and what was your reason for playing on the platform you played it on?
Oh, here we go. Now, this is a bit of a story. I just explained to you that I've been a long time Doom fan, and I guess we should mention I haven't tried it yet, but I'm pretty sure that when you're finding these secrets in Doom VFR and it's unlocking stuff, I'm pretty sure that those are classic Doom levels that you're unlocking. So you can actually play some of the older Doom levels in Doom VFR. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm sure it's pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. But me being a longtime Doom fan, when I first bought VR, which of course was PlayStation VR, I bought Doom VFR. It was one of my first games. Actually, one of the first games I got from GameFly, honestly. And so I came in to Doom VFR on PlayStation many months ago. And you have different controller options. And you can play with your Move controllers and have full hand presence in the game. Or you can play with your aim controller, which gives you one hand presence and has the left hand just kind of sticking out of your chest holding the grenade launcher. And then you could play with the dual shock, which has both hands sticking out like that. I always opted for hand presence, and not just this game, but in any game. If I have an option, I can have my hands in the game. That's the way I'm going to go. So that's how I originally played this game. But it quickly became frustrating as I got it on into the game that there's no turning options. If you use the move controllers, you can't turn. There's only a 180-degree turn. You can turn directly back around. So basically, I had to play the game running in straight lines, shooting the enemy, teleporting past them all the way to the wall, and then doing a 180 turn, and just over and over again, running back and forth, turning around. And that's how I played. So this was before I had PCVR, obviously. So I got tired of playing it, and I just put it down because I didn't want to play with the controllers. You know, the controllers give you turn options, but I didn't want to play with this arm sticking out. It felt weird to me. So I just kind of put the game down. And when I got my Oculus Rift, I said, okay, finally.
Here we go. Here we
now,
go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hell
Finally, now I can play Doom the way it was meant to be played. And I
Super
can have
sampled and
Yeah. So I bought Doom again, just so I can have turn options and have super impressive graphics, and I got none of that. I didn't know, as a new PCVR gamer, that there's this thing between Bethesda and Oculus, and for some reason they don't support the Oculus platform. All of their games come out, they have some sort of unofficial support, and most of them you can get to work pretty good, but not Doom VFR. So when I tried to play it, again, no turn options, and there's a mod, and supposedly, according to the people online, the mod for Oculus to get smooth turning actually works pretty good, but that was for CV1.
OG.
Yeah. OG Rift. So I tried to install it on my Rift S, and it just locked up the Oculus Home. It didn't run at all. So when I played this game, and played through it, I actually had to go back to my PlayStation and play with my aim controller, which gives me control of my right hand, but I have this crazy, weird-looking arm sticking out of my chest through the whole thing. I mean, I got used to it, and the gameplay's way better.
It's amazing.
When you have the sticks. But yeah, I played it on the PlayStation, and that's pretty much why I played it that way.
Yeah, same here. I bought it through a CD key place a while back for PC, and then realized I couldn't play it, and then got it on PlayStation because you recommended it when it was on sale, and I didn't mind the arm sticking out of my chest because and what we're describing is you've got your gun, you're holding your gun, your aim controller, and that's your gun that you're using. But then there's a second arm that's with your grenade launcher, and then you'll hit a button and it'll just throw it out. But the rest of the time it's just jutting out of your chest, kind of. It just seems really fucking lazy for Bethesda, man. Like, you've got, just animate this arm when change it. I don't know. It's really weird to me, and it's such a weird thing. First, for it to I guess if it bothers you, I mean, I'm weird because I got the guy sitting in my car, and the dirt rally bothers me. But it's just such a weird thing for them to not fix. It seems like it would be really easy. It just seems really lazy to me. But so you think it was as awesome as I do with the aim controller, aside from the chest, everything. Yeah. There's so many buttons, the teleporting around. I mean, that game, we were just saying before we started that you have to move. You have to be moving it, especially when you get into hell. Especially when you get near the end of the game, it gets so fucking crazy that you're teleporting everywhere. Shit's chasing you. You're shooting stuff. You're changing guns because certain guns affect different people. It's just so crazy. Speaking of guns, what was your favorite gun, and what gun did you feel like was a complete waste of fucking time? Like, why is this even in here?
I kind of used all of them a little bit, but really my bread and butter was the heavy assault rifle. Um, the uh, the way I play pretty much any game, I'm conservative. I try to preserve ammo, and it probably is kind of stupid in this game because they just load you down with ammo every time that you run out. There's ammo laying around somewhere you can pick up, but I always act like there's not going to be. Like I need to preserve my ammo, and I save my really powerful weapons just in case I get, run into some
Swarmed.
badass that I have trouble with. Uh, but I pretty much stayed with the heavy assault rifle. I like the special upgrade shot with it. You hold the button down and it charges, and then it shoots out six explosive darts. So like they stick in your enemy and then they explode. I wore that thing out, man. I probably used that gun 75% of the time, and then if I got a bigger enemy, something that was hard to kill, I would switch over to the Gauss
Grenade.
cannon.
Oh, okay, Goss. Yeah, man. There were so many cool guns in there. I felt like the pistol was kind of a waste, but I mean, obviously it's just a one shotter. But I just rarely use that. But I think I used the plasma the most if I could go to. But I didn't have as much bullets. That goes so fast. Those, it's just.
Yeah.
But I did find certain enemies were more resistant to certain bullets. So I guess you kind of change as time goes by. Did you find the button on the aim controller a little hard to hit to switch? Or maybe you're used to it more, but it just seemed like it was awkward to me.
It was a weird spot to put that in. And even more weird than that was the map button. Like I played through a level or two of this game just thinking, well, I guess I don't have a map in this version with this controller. But I ended up finding it. It's on the very top of the aim controller. You literally have to stop and, press on top
I
of
never
it.
pushed it. Yeah, I never knew it was there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, I
crazy.
didn't think it was there. I knew there was a map from playing it with the move controllers, but I tried all the buttons that I could think of, and I didn't
Oh,
ever see it.
why would it be on top, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
stupid. Oh,
They have these stupid dash movements that they use the buttons for that nobody uses. It really don't work all that well. I think they could have used those buttons for the map and for changing your gun. I think it would have worked a lot better. I wish there was some variety. I wish you had options. I guess.
especially gun, that'd be a perfect gun spot. And honestly, like you said, why would you use that dash when you can teleport? Like it
Right,
doesn't move you far enough to get away from anything, right?
right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's just crazy. What did you think of Telefrag? And it took me a long time to really utilize it. Did it take you as long? Like, I mean, probably 3/4 of the game, I didn't really use it much. And then all of a sudden I was like, this is fucking awesome. I was like shooting it, telefragging into everybody.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things about this game is the teleportation and the telefragging. I can't remember how long it took me to get into it because again, this is one of the first VR games I played. So coming back into it to play through it for this, I already knew that I needed the telefrag, so it was right off the bat. I was going nuts with it. But yeah, it feels really good. Uh, it, it makes you kind of feel like Superman in a way because whenever you're casting out your icon to teleport, time slows down. So it's like
Hmm.
bullet time. So you can really quickly move all around the enemies. And then when you've got one weakened, you teleport into the enemy and they explode into
It's just
bloody chunks.
it's just such a cool graphic, you know. Uh,
Yeah, it's awesome. Visceral.
yeah, exactly. So speaking of graphics and such, let's talk about games, how it looks, sounds, and feels. Wes, which of these three categories impressed you the most? And let's talk about it.
It's hard to choose because it was all so good. The I guess I kind of kept going back to the graphics, especially after you get into hell. It's hard to believe that they could make a game that looks this good on a console. It doesn't, you wouldn't think they would be able to pull it off, but it looks so good. It looks, really, it looks like a PC VR game. The only flaws I saw with it visually uh, were flaws with the headset itself. It wasn't with the image that was being rendered from the PlayStation. I could see pixels and things because now I'm used to playing with my Rift S.
Hmm.
It's the first thing you notice when you come back into PlayStation is you can see the pixels again. But absolutely beautiful, graphically speaking, and then the audio so creepy. Like you'll be going down these random corridors and just hear ambient screams in the distance. People, what you think you would hear if you were in hell, you'd hear it. Or if you walk by a portal, not going into it, but just walk by it, you'll start hearing whispering coming from it, like things are whispering in your ears. And not only are the sound effects absolutely terrifying, but the soundtrack, probably the best I've ever heard in any game. Just rocking heavy metal jams. When you start fighting and you're in a fight scene, you know that it's time to kick ass because the kick ass music starts playing. And yeah, just everything about this game is great except for the things all the
This one.
jank that comes with trying to play it on Oculus.
Yeah, not only that, but even like the decisions of Bethesda to be lazy and stuff. And I mean, it's just another example of what we've been saying the last couple weeks of what a good developer can do with a lot of money. And both were put into this game. And it's sad that Carmack fucked it up for everybody with whatever happened. I don't know what happened, but Bethesda's really pissed and has been pissed for several years. The rumor is that he stole the Oculus idea, I guess, but or at least created it under their watch. But it's just it's a shame that they can't optimize it for everybody. But I guess that being said, it was made specifically for that console, or not console, but for Vive, correct? Like it was touted as this is for them. It wasn't for Oculus, almost an exclusive without being said.
Everything that they put out is exclusively
Right.
for
So
Vive at the time. Now that Index is in the mix, it's a little different. But there's just, it's not that there's just jank on Oculus, but in all the Bethesda games on both headsets, there's jank. There just happens to
right.
be more on Oculus. And I think that you hit the nail on the head. It's like they're lazy because it's like they know people are going to buy their games anyway. And as long as they can get it to run well enough, then screw it. Let them figure it out. And a lot of these games, these Bethesda games, wouldn't be playable at all on Oculus if it weren't for the modding community. And if amateur modders can make these games so much better, like Skyrim, for example, all the Skyrim mods, from what I hear, make that game on a totally another level when you add in the mods. And if the modders can do that stuff, you know that these professional game developers at Bethesda could if they wanted to, but they obviously just don't care.
Yeah. I mean, eventually, hopefully they will. I mean, they make good games, and I'd like to see, everything. But I guess my point, what I was going to say is it's hard for me to get too pissed about not playing Doom VFR. Like all these Oculus exclusives come out, and then my stance is like, well, I mean, you should get an Oculus then. Well, I kind of have to feel the same way if, maybe I need to get an Index or something else that plays it better. But I don't know. I wouldn't do that for this game. But yeah, maybe that's on my mind now. But yeah, why the fuck is Bethesda so lazy? That's just that's my question. But
Because everyone's going to buy their game anyway. Because everybody's going to buy it anyway. And they already have this shit reputation for putting out a nearly finished game. They always put out nearly finished games. It's not ever fully done. So why would they care? They're getting all the money. They already have the reputation. So, fuck it. Who cares, right?
Yeah, you might as well. Yeah, I wasn't too thrilled with Fallout 76. It was okay, but different story. All right, so I guess this is definitely we're both recommending it, but we're both also saying there's shit that sucks about it. But it's definitely one of the funnest first person shooters I've played, and without playing the original Doom, it feels just like the original. No, I don't know, but it feels so good. Everything you described is exactly what I felt, and it was a fun, crazy time. So would you say the price is worth it? And how long do you think that you've been in there? I mean, I know I put 3-4 hours in there, probably somewhere around there.
Yeah, I'd say probably about that long. And the price is a hard thing to judge because this game goes on sale a lot. You can pick this game up for $15 on the regular. So it's kind of hard for me to recommend somebody pay 30 for it when I know they can get it for half price. At least once every 6 weeks or so, you'll find it for half price. So now, from a pure value perspective, I mean, it's a AAA game. It's Doom. All this jank that we're talking about, most of it's PC stuff. So if you're on PlayStation VR, I mean, it has the level of polish that Sony quality assurance makes sure that the games all have. So yeah, on PlayStation VR, 100% recommend. On PC, it gets a little dicey.
Yeah, and just for the viewers that aren't listening to this on the podcast, we're showing some game footage finally. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. This is just an amazing game. It's crazy, and being in there and having these monsters attacking and just everything about it is just crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's Doom. It's Doom in VR. If you love Doom and you love VR, it's Doom in VR. It does take a while to get into the classic Doom. This is more, mid 2000s Doom for the first half of the game, but it's still fun. And when you get to hell, it's just as nuts as you think it is.
Yeah, it's way crazy, and I definitely recommend it. I definitely think it's. I would even pick it up at full price if I never knew it was on sale. But like you said, it's if if you have patience, if you're not like me, if you're not like I got to play this right now, wait and then get it on sale. Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right. Well, if you like this video and it's something you want to check out some more content, definitely go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also join our Discord if you want to be a part of the discussion, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Yep. Take it easy.